We've just received another death warrant.
The courts granted John stays of execution 6 more times. Then, in April 1999, we received yet another death warrant. This time, it didn't look like there was anything that could be done.
You said another Pee, we might be able to.
We didn't know how to begin telling John that we'd failed. I'm so sorry, John.
You guys did a good job. You got me 7 stays of execution. 7.
Yeah, except you've received 8 death warrants. We've run out of appeals, John.
When?
You have 1 month. May 20th.
Can we move that date? It's the day before my son's graduation. See, look, I'm ready to die, if that's what God has in store for me. But John Jr., he's not.
The date's set, John.
Okay. Look, you did what you could, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you both. Can I ask you just one more favor?
Yeah, anything we can, John.
Do you think you can tell my boys for me? I just can't find the words. You do that?
Yeah.
Good.
We should help with the funeral arrangements.
Yeah.
Over a decade of work, but we'd failed to save a man who was not only innocent, but also a friend. And then a miracle occurred. Our private investigator discovered that key evidence had been suppressed by the prosecution during John's carjacking trial.
She knows why the DA wanted John's blood.
The name on the report was Whitaker.
John Thomson, huh? Boy, you're all going back a long way. You're sure that's the man that tried to rob you and your brothers? I haven't worked at the DA's office for a while now. Went into private practice several years ago.
Let me come straight to the point. We recently obtained an old police report from the New Orleans Police Crime Lab. Now it seems you requested a blood typing test be done on a piece of cloth from John Lagarde's pant leg. You know, the boy who fought off the assailant in the carjacking case?
Kicked the assailant in the face. The assailant bled on him, I remember.
Well, it seems that the test came back with type B blood on the pants.
And?
Both Thomson and the boy are type O. Now, that information was never shared with the defense, and it was never brought up in trial. Any idea who got a hold of those results?
The prosecutors were James Williams and Jerry Deegan.
We brought the concealed blood evidence before the judge who had presided over Thomson's murder trial and shared the news with John.
Deegan admitted to one of his fellow prosecutors that he intentionally withheld blood evidence from your carjacking trial.
Might I ask?
The judge admonished the district attorney's office for their questionable behavior, and he threw out Thomson's 15-year-old attempted robbery conviction.
That proves what I've been saying all along. I did not do that carjacking.
And because the invalid attempted robbery conviction persuaded the jury to give Thomson the death penalty in his murder trial,
Yes, Your Honor.
the judge once and for all dropped the death sentence against John, reducing his punishment to life in prison. Though we were gratified with this outcome, it still meant an innocent man was in prison, and we would not be satisfied until he was free.
After his conviction for the murder of Ray Liuza Jr., John Thomson had lived on Louisiana's death row for almost 15 years. He had been granted 8 stays of execution. Then, in May 1999, An appeal reduced his sentence to life imprisonment. Over the months and years that followed, Thomson's lawyers continued to work to set him free.
Sir, there's a reporter from the New Orleans Chronicle on the line for you.
Michael Banks. What court order?
A reporter from New Orleans relayed the latest development in John's case. It hit me like a ton of bricks.
Michael? What is it?
We got a new trial.
And this time, we're gonna prove his innocence. We've got to see exactly what that investigator has for the new trial. We're being asked to go back and retry an 18-year-old murder case. I've examined the facts, and I'm convinced Thomson is as guilty as he was 18 years ago. What do you have?
Plenty. I found a woman named Sherry Hartman Kelly. She lived on the corner where the murder occurred. She actually made eye contact with the killer as he was running from the crime scene. She described him as tall, stocky, and wearing dark clothes.
Did the police take her statement?
She says they did. Sherry was asked to identify some mugshots a few weeks later, but she wasn't able to identify anyone. She was so scared she moved out within weeks. She says no one has contacted her since.
Until now.
Right. But back in 1985, when John Thomson's picture appeared in the newspaper, after his arrest, guess what her reaction was?
This is not the man I saw.
I also found two other witnesses, a married couple, the McAllisters.
Take my wallet. All right, take it. Do it before I'm gonna shoot you. No!
Unfortunately, they didn't see anything.
Don't go to the window.
But they heard everything. By the time Mr. McAllister looked out the window, the killer was gone.
Still important. One set of feet running from the crime. Everybody, including the victim, reports only one person being involved. And only one person, Kojak Freeman, admits being there.
I was there. I know about the robbery, but I wasn't no killer.
Sure, Kojak Freeman was there. That's why he was called as a witness. But John Thomson was the one that pulled the trigger.
Man, Nut killed that man. He told me he did.
And John Nut Thomson confessed his crime to his good friend, Funk Perkins.
Man, Kojak told me you did it, man.
John tells us he never confessed anything to Funk Perkins. The conversation, in fact, never took place.
Funk had over 10,000 reasons to lie. That's how many dollars he was paid in reward money.
I want to help Mr. Liuzza, but I'd like him to help me,
Both Funk Perkins and Kojak Freeman told the same consistent story on the witness stand.
Yeah, we talked to Funk Perkins in jail. He's in there for 15 years for dealing drugs. Now, we asked him how all these different stories evolved into one cohesive tale before they testified. Funk told us that on a trip to the prosecutor's office just before John's trial, that an assistant DA had a very interesting meeting set up.
Have a seat. You know Kevin, I believe. All of the evidence in this murder is pointing at the two of you. I'll be back in a minute. You two take this time to get your story straight.
Funk and Kojak set up John Thomson.
After hearing the evidence in my case, the jury took only 30 minutes to find me not guilty. My lawyers managed to keep me out of the electric chair 8 times. If I would have had the same blood type as the carjacker, I'd be dead by now.
Get me away from this boy.
I'm just glad to be back with my boys and to have the chance to make up for lost time.
After 18 years in prison and 8 stays of execution, John Thomson was released from prison on the 9th of May 2003. Today, he is employed as a legal assistant by the Center for Equal Justice. He is determined to bring hope to other individuals on death row. In 1995, Kevin Kojak Freeman died after being shot by a security guard during an attempted robbery. The killing was ruled to have been in self-defense. No one else has ever been charged with or convicted of the murder of Ray Laiusa Jr.